Hello and welcome to Wife's a Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Arnstein. And to start off, I'd like to show you that I have merch on my website on wifesofbitch.com. And I got my book called Impress Yourself. That's on Amazon. And you can find the links on the website. And I have the t-shirts and the hats and the water bottles and the whole thing. But anyway, today's questions and answers for you guys that wrote in. Thank you so much for writing in. I'll do the best I can. Disclaimer, I am not a real therapist, but I definitely have some expertise in the topics, and I will try to help you out with relationship advice. So here goes. I'm going to change the names, of course, to everybody that wrote in. Um, so here we go with number one. This one's kind of funny, but let's go with it because I'm sure somebody else has this problem. Lisa asks or says, my husband farts in bed and he snores and I can't take it anymore. We are married for 4 years and we have 2 sons together. He's 2 years old. I'm sorry. We have a son together. He is 2 years old and I love my husband, but I'm not sure if I could sleep with him anymore. Okay, Lisa, or whatever your name is. All right. So there's a few things that I could ask, which is like, you didn't give me details about how many rooms you have in the house. Is it a studio apartment? Is it a 1 bedroom? If so, you got yourself a little bit of a problem there. There are ways to get rid of snoring, and there are ways to get rid of flatulence, for lack of a better word, fart. But so you should look into that first and foremost because you know, not sleeping with your husband. I don't know if that's your thing. I don't know if that's what he wants. Maybe he feels better about having separate rooms also. Some people are okay with that in their marriage. Some people are okay with that in their relationships. I personally don't like it. There were a few years that my husband was training for his marathons and ultra marathons and Ironman races, and he didn't want to sleep in the same room, not because he didn't want to sleep with me. We still were intimate, but he would go to the attic and sleep because he didn't want to be woken up by the kids in the morning. So I don't know how you guys feel. I got used to it, but I wasn't okay with it. I wasn't, and I put my foot down at one point. I'm like, you know what? This is not okay with me. I need to get back in bed with you. Like that's where I feel more connected. And I have to say, we're married 26 years, and I was a virgin my wedding night. So I've been in the same bed with him the last 6 years. Well, last 15, but the last 6 years have been the best because we were separated in between that. Um, and it's great because, besides the fact that I'm in menopause and I'm going through hot flashes, I actually love being cuddled and everything else. And once in a while, I have to push him off for like a minute or two to get the hot flash out, and then he comes back. But then I get really cold, and then I need him to hug me again. So I really like that kind of intimacy in bed, and I like to be held like that. It just feels good for me. Certain times when we're arguing, whatever, we don't have that, and I definitely feel that loss of connection. So if you guys could get that put together and straightened out, I mean, I say go to a doctor, find out what you can do. And if you guys are okay with sleeping in different rooms, both of you, I think, have to be okay with it because one of you is going to regret it and resent it, and it might wreak havoc on your marriage or your relationship. So that's my advice for that. Um, Number two, Margaret asks, I'm married for 9 years and I just found out my husband cheated on me. He says he doesn't love her and it was only a few times, but he wants to stay married. We have 3 kids together and he has a son who lives with his mother. He is 13. Okay. All of my friends and family told me to leave him, but I truly love him and I want us to stay together. I just can't shake the feeling that I am not his only love now. Okay. So this is a touchy subject. I know your friends and family are going to give you advice like that, but you can't really listen to them because they're not in your relationship and they don't know exactly. Of course, there's a lot of basic red flags that we could all see, that are very bad, but We have to see what his patterns are and his consistencies. In other words, love is an action. It's not just a word. He could say, I love you all day long and not mean it. What does he do? Does he pay the rent? Does he help you out with things? Does he show you that he loves you in other ways? Those are really important signs that people miss. And they miss it because they're focusing on the negative. So people want to know if they can get back, if they could shake it. It's a very hard one because you feel like they're being intimate with somebody else. I find emotionally, if you're cheating, that might be harder than a physical one because physical could be, just wants to get his rocks off or something and could get a happy ending, some like Asian massage parlor, but in Thailand or something. But emotionally, that's a tough one to get through because when a man is emotionally attached to somebody, because I do believe that men could just be physical and not really mean it. But when a man is emotionally attached to someone, I really do believe that that is the more harmful type of cheating because there's a love connection there. There's something that's keeping them there besides the physical. So I would look into that, find out if it's an emotional thing. And usually the woman or whatever the mate finds out the other is cheating. And the first thing they say is, do you love her? Do you love him? Do you love that other person? That's the first thing they ask because that's the hardest thing to break. So I would advise to get through that with either therapy, and if you can't afford that, there are cheap ways to go to therapy also. And you can talk it out and get a mediator that's just, not even involved. Take them out to dinner and tell them, hey, we just need someone to mediate. But they should just be objective, not have one side. They shouldn't be part of the family. They shouldn't have a side, you know. But I really do believe that emotional cheating is much harder than the physical cheating. So if it's just physical, you guys got to get through that too. That is, you know, that's got to be something that you guys are okay with, or not okay with. And you got to get through that. But emotionally, that's the tough one to break. So I would find that out. Number three. Mm, so I have 10 over here, and I don't know how long each one is going to go. I imagine I'm just going to do about a half hour of this, but let's see how it goes and if I could even be helpful. Susan asks, this one's a long one. Not really, but okay. She left me details, which is good because that's how I could get, you know, if you write details, because that's how I can get to know what's more, you know, advantageous for all of you. I'm in a long distance relationship. I have been seeing him for 2.5 years, and he's almost everything I wanted in a man. I like how she wrote almost. Um, I have my own career in marketing. It's a little vague, but whatever. She just wants to tell me what she does. I live in Boston and he lives in Miami. So this is a long distance relationship, which I've spoken about in a podcast before. And just to touch on that, I could just answer that right now. You both have to want that. You both have to want it. And one of you can't just want a long distance relationship. Okay, but I'm going to move on. We both see each other twice a month. Not that much, but we do have FaceTime videos now. So, you can do a lot of that. Um, So I guess I'm going to comment in between because it's a little long. Um, we see each other twice a month, and he comes to see me more than I see him. Okay. And that's a good sign. I did meet a few, I'm just going to read it, so then I'm just going to talk. I, I did meet a few men in the last 6 months who I really seem to get along with. I'm 27 years old, and I don't know if I should continue on with this long distance relationship. He has been so good to me, and we also get along great, but not sure. Question mark. Does that mean I'm making a mistake if I end up getting married or moving in with him and make him move to where I am in Boston? He has a good business and he trades stocks, but he's willing to move to be with me. I'm confused. Okay. So let's just break this down. First, like I said, you both have to want the long distance relationship. Okay. See my money on the back of my phone. All right. Then we both see each other twice a month. he comes to see me more, that's kind of a good sign. I like when the man chases the woman. It shows that they're not wasting their time. They really do want to pursue something. Um, I did meet a few men in the last 6 months. In 2.5 years, if you're already interested in other men, that's a red flag for your relationship. I mean, you could test it out. You're not married now, you're not even engaged, but you should kind of, I mean, you don't really owe anybody any commitment until you are. But if you have the exclusivity now, or does he have an understanding that you guys are in a long distance relationship? Because if he's in an understanding, you also don't know what he's doing on his time without you. Even if he says what he says, it's still, you don't know. So, um, you're already looking into other men the last 6 months who I really seem to get along with. You get along with, but are they the ones for you? Right? I mean, everything's great in the beginning. You got to really know them. I say long distance relationships are hard if you didn't have already a relationship where you guys were seeing each other all the time and then he moved or you moved. Because that's just going to take way longer. Like 2.5 years of a long distance relationship is equivalent to about, I'd say, 3 months of dating. If I had to, if I had to break it down, maybe 5 months of dating. What else did you say? He's been so good to me. That's a cry for help in a way. He's been so good to me. Almost like you feel guilty about breaking it off or seeing other people because he's been so good to you. Okay, he should be good to you. And we also get along great, same thing. But not sure now. Why are you writing that? Does that mean I'm making a mistake if I end up getting married or moving in with him and making him, well, all right. So he's in stocks. I think he could do that anywhere. Um, but you are making him move if he moves. Like if you guys pursue this, he's obviously moving to you, which is cold and it's a different kind of climate, and that's what he's used to. But you don't want him to resent you later. So in this case, and I'm not into moving in together, I say marriage and then fight for that marriage. But if you guys are really in that, like, you know, that limbo, like you don't know where you're going with it, I say if you're two adults consenting, you guys should move in together and see if you guys are really meant for each other. But that's only because you can't see each other in the same place and see each other every night and like almost fall asleep, or just fall asleep on his couch and, really get to know him more, if that makes sense. So you guys could really get to know each other if you're in the same vicinity because you guys would see each other way more. And then you could feel like you're living with them, even if you don't actually live with them or pay rent together. Sorry, I'm just going to button that. I thought that was buttoned. All right. So now where am I up to? I hope that helped. All right. What else do we have? Okay, number 4. My boyfriend of 7 years is showing signs of cheating on me. Showing signs. He promised me 4 years ago that we would get married. I keep trying to break up with him, but he's the love of my life. I'm confused. He's 34 and I'm 28. Not many details in this one, but I understand where she's feeling a little bit of like crazy. My boyfriend of 7 years, I have to stop you right there. 7 years is a long time. What is your goal? Like, if you want to get married, 7 years is way too long to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like, it's way too long. It's just a waste of time. You should not be exclusive in that way for 7 years. If you were trying to get married and he promised you 4 years ago, I'm going to put that on her. Sorry, I didn't say a name here, so I'm just going to make up a name. Tracy. But you really do have to think about how you invested all your time in one person and the whole promise thing. Like I said, love is a verb. It's a doing thing. It's an action. You can't just be promised. Those are just words. So now you know for the next one. I know he's the love of your life, but you're 28 and you wasted 7 years. That's a long time to long, long time. And he's already 34. I don't know, girl. I don't know. I am going to say break up. I say break up because breakups will give you your answer. It will reveal a lot. Even if you're married, sometimes you got to break up, like happened to me. Okay. Next one. Because that didn't have a lot of details, but next one. I encourage you to write a lot of details if you're gonna write me a question that you want answered. And again, disclaimer: I am not a therapist. You should go see a therapist over me, a marriage counselor that's certified. But I do have a lot of experience and I do have a lot of insight. So let's just go with that. You never know. You might just get something out of my angle. All right. Mm, okay. So this is Brad. My wife is angry all the time, and she says that everything is my fault. We've been together for 8 years, and she has a 14-year-old daughter, and the daughter's dad died last year, and she lives with us full time now, and sometimes visits her aunt and grandmother. She sees us fighting all the time, but we get along great. In other words, he and the daughter gets along great. um, She wants us to stay together, and I love her daughter, but I'm not sure I can stay in this toxic relationship and just stay because of my bond with her daughter. It's like very Jerry Maguire. If you saw that movie. Uh, Relationship to stay because of my bond with her daughter. I don't know if anything will get better. Okay. It seems like we are always both working and we never get to have quality time together anyway. I watch her daughter when she goes out with her girlfriends, and I think that's when she comes home and gets angrier with me. I think her girlfriends push her to break up with me, even though I know for a fact that one of them likes me, and she even admitted that to me before I got married. Okay. But my wife doesn't even believe her or him about that. Can we salvage this marriage or should I move on and let the daughter know I will always be there for her, even if I leave? I think you kind of gave yourself the answer to that. I think a breakup would be fine and then just show the daughter that you're still around because that's okay. It's okay. And I understand that you can get attached to a stepdaughter or a stepchild because you are basically saying you're there for them. But that doesn't have to end just because the relationship ends with the mother. If you're always fighting, that's actually worse for them to see. So, what I suggest is a break, a separation, and it doesn't look like your wife is getting any better at any of this unless you guys go to therapy, like even family therapy, I would say. And that would show the daughter that you're really connected as a family. If you can get to a family therapist, that would be helpful. If you can't and she's not willing to go, and it sounds like if she's listening to her friends anyway over who she should like and not like and stay married to, that's already shaky grounds for your marriage. But this friend is toxic, in my belief, and you're not showing signs that you like the friend anyway. So there's nothing that's going to come out of that. Um, but if she's still really good friends with that friend, that's her. That's on her. She's going to lose a really good guy like you. And I'm assuming you're a good guy. She's going to lose out on you because she's listening to a friend. And that's sad. Friends could really ruin a lot of things. When I was separated with my husband, very good friend said not to break up. She was actually the only one out of all my friends and family. So she wasn't even like, she had no skin in the game. She was just like, work at it. But then at one point, she even said, listen, if you can't work at it, then, it's time to go. But my husband came back. All right. So that's my advice to you. All right. Carrie asks, I suspect my boyfriend of 5.5 years is cheating on me because every time I ask him, he can't even make eye contact with me and he changes the subject. I think it is someone he works with. I am 24 and he's 24. He works at a car dealership. I even went there and saw the way that he talks with her, and I see she flirts back with him in little ways like she'll touch his arm and when they talk, and it kills me inside and I want to scream and throw her to the wall. But of course, I don't show that side to my boyfriend. I just hint that he's interested in her and he just shoves it away like I'm the crazy one. Okay. First of all, you'd have to be really sure and you'd have to know if that's also an emotional relationship. Because if it's just physical, that's bad too, but you can break that up before it even starts. But if it's starting to get emotional, start getting involved. And if not, then threaten to leave. Even if you love the guy, if this guy is like emotionally attached to somebody else, let him see what it's like with life without you. And that's really how you have to do it. You have to really own yourself and impress yourself and start to really see why you're with him in the first place. You can't just give charity any more than you do, you know? Um, and I would go as far as to confront her if it doesn't, if it really is your last resort. I would confront her. I would actually say to her, I'm on to you or whatever. I see what you're doing and, it's not cool. But then she might want to do it more because of it, the forbidden fruit type of thing. So I don't know if that's the route to go either. Like I said, I'm not a therapist, but I do know a few things about relationships, and the emotional part is the strongest one that you could actually break. So if it is emotional, say la vie, bye, bye. There are other men out there, I promise you. And you're young still, you're 24, he's 24, he's still probably trying to figure things out. Okay, number 7. Tiffany says, I'm a social I am s- T- Tiffany says, I am social and my husband is not. He won't go anywhere with me. I practically go everywhere alone or with friends. Recently, I met a guy who I don't have any romance with at all. We just love the same things and I will meet him at the movies sometimes. I think he likes me more than a friend, but I can't be sure. Can men and women be friends? My husband, um, where did I go? My husband doesn't even care and he thinks that my friend is gay. But I know he's not gay because he told me he had a girlfriend for 7 years and they broke up and he was heartbroken and said he will never find another woman like her. I think he just likes to hang with me until he finds someone else. Okay. I think he might like you because I don't think the man's going to waste his time on you. And I think he's getting emotionally attached to you. If he's going to the same things that you're going to and meeting you at places, I don't think that I think, it's okay to just say that he's not over this girl of 7 years, but you don't know that. You don't know if he's just doing that as a sob story. Maybe he really still loves her, but he's obviously not going back with her. He's spending time with you. Maybe he's using you as a friend to get to that place where he needs his ego back. That happens too. I know when I broke up with my husband at the time, I was seeking out approval from other men, just wanted them to like me to get my ego back. That could be it too. Either way, it's very shaky ground because men and women, I don't typically think can really be friends if one of them is liking the other one more than the other one could. Um, it's harder when a man likes a woman more in a friendship because that's just harder to break off. Uh, it's just harder. And for a woman, she could like a man and not act on it, but a man could act on it if he likes you more. So I don't know. Your husband thinks he's gay, but I don't know where he got that from. I don't know why. Maybe it's just sour grapes, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he really doesn't care. Maybe he's seeing somebody else. I don't know. I don't know. Number 8, Singh. It's an Indian name, but this person says, this woman says that I could use this name. So maybe she gave me a fake name. She says, I'm okay with you using this name. So Singh says, I'm an Indian woman and my current guy is a white male, half Jewish. He doesn't care about religion, but my parents and my family are very strict with it. And they are not going to accept my boyfriend as a husband. And they continue to make him feel unwanted. I was thinking of just eloping with him, but I would most likely lose my whole family, except maybe my sister who won't care either way, as she also is interested in a man who is not Indian. I'm not sure if I should break it off and be a good example for my sister or keep it going and let everyone just accept me if they want and walk away if they don't. I'm torn. I'm 23. He's 37. He says that I should stop listening to my family and be my own woman. You see my little judgments in my eyes? I'm a mom too, so he says that I should stop listening to my family and be on my own and be my own woman. But I love my family so much, and I really want to make it work with all of them. And I hold on. I really want to make it work with all of them, and I hold on to hope in them all getting along. But I don't think they will because my cousin had the same thing happen to him, and the family still won't talk to him, and he is married with 3 kids now. It's scary to even think that it can be this way for me. She's already afraid. I don't think I can handle that, but I really don't know. My boyfriend says he will always love me and take care of me, and he says that I won't ever have to worry about finances or have to work. He is a CEO of a company that manufactures shoes, and I am fresh out of college and I work as a secretary at a doctor's office, which is where we met 2 years ago. Okay, it's a lot to unpack, but she wrote a lot of details, and I like that. Sing. This is what I say. Um, Marriage is hard enough. Okay. So for you to have different worlds, that's you're already coming from 2 different worlds, but to have 2 different religions and where the family is not going to accept him, I don't think you're going to like have a good life like that. Or you're already questioning it. And yes, you will be an example for your sister as well. So you're not just doing this to you, you're doing this to your family, you're doing this to your entire family, and it's going to continue. It's going to be like the gift that keeps on giving, but not in a good way. So, I understand it. As a Jew, I get it. My family's strict also. And I had to marry a Jew, and that's the way it was. And it is harder, but it can be done. Maybe there's someone else out there for you, and I would give that a chance before you get married. You're 23, you're still young. He's older, he's more established. Um, you don't know how it's going to be, even if you're married, if he will take care of you. You don't know how that's going to go. I think you should just, uh, 2 different worlds. The family's not going to accept it. It sounds like they didn't accept your cousin either. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't play with that fire. Okay. So you start fires that you can't put out. You're going to get burned. Okay, this is the 10th one. This is the final one for tonight, for this episode. Caroline says, and I have a lot more, but a lot of them were kind of repeats. So these same answers, basically. Caroline says, I am in a 2-year relationship with a married man who swears he's getting divorced as soon as his daughter gets out of college, so he doesn't disrupt her studies. He's 45 and I'm 38, and he and his wife have not been happy for 10 years, but they stayed married for their kids. They have 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter, and I have 1 son and he lives with me and his dad. He's 13. I know deep down my boyfriend loves me more than anything, and he is working on his divorce. And we also look at apartments online together in Houston, Texas, where he is from, and I'm from Dallas. But if he does not come through, am I just wasting my time? I want to marry him so badly, but I don't know if he will ever really, I don't know if he'll ever really make that divorce final. He says his wife knows about us, but she doesn't really stop him, and I think she may even have a boyfriend now of her own. Whew, there's a lot to unpack on that, but thank you for the details. This kid's involved. I don't know. I would break it off until he gets divorced. That's what I would do. Like I said, action is better than words. And, it's okay for him to say that. He doesn't have anything really connected to his wife for 10 years. But yeah, I don't, at this point, if he's using his daughter as an excuse to hold on to that marriage, some people do that. I don't know how much longer this kid is going to be in the way as far as him making his decision, but I say break it off anyway. If he really loves you, he'll wait and he will prove it and he will propose to you. And that's how I see it. I do believe that a man chases a woman. If they want them, they will get them, and they know where you live. They know where you are. They're not going to lose you, if they love you. If they don't love you, you have your gift. It's a great gift. It's liberating. It's total freedom. So I would totally get to that point of really enjoying who I am and knowing who I am. You already have a child, and it sounds like there's a lot of disruption, and you both have kids, and it'll be a mess if it doesn't work out. So, there's a lot more riding on your relationship than you think. Because when other people are involved, it's not just you. All right. So, guys, I hope that answers a lot of your questions. This is exactly a half hour, and I really hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions and you want answers, or you want to just talk and discuss and write comments below, write your comments below and tell me exactly what you feel, and write to me at my email address, varnstein g@gmail.com, if you want any type of answers to your questions or advice, or you know somebody else who's having a problem and maybe you can help them out with my podcast. But yeah, I hope I answered in a way where it helps in any way possible. And visit my website, wifesabitch.com, and also on Instagram, Victoria Makes You Laugh, and Wife's a Bitch podcast. And that's on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it helped, and happy relationship to you. Take care, everyone.